becoming millionaires? Please type a yes or no in the chat. Let me see. Can I see the chat? Yeah, I can. Type a yes. Are there no millionaires? Exactly. There are millionaires right now. So if there are millionaires right now in this economy, do they have two heads? Do they have two heads? They don't. So just like this same economy, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's this, it's that, T-Pain. By the way, I found out the meaning of T-Pain a few weeks ago. I actually thought T-Pain was a rapper. I didn't know that it meant something else in Nigeria. I just found that out. Anyway, so, people are complaining, forgetting that your power of your mind is unbelievable. When you focus and you complain about the things that are not going well, things will not go well because you cannot sow apples and reap oranges. Your thoughts are the seeds that you're sowing every single day. Your thoughts are the seeds you're sowing every single day. And if you're sowing negative thoughts, let me not say you. If the person is sowing negative thoughts, the person will reap negative life experiences. So therefore, to live a different life, to live the life you see in your mind's eye, to live the life you desire, your mindset has to change because old keys will not open new doors. That's impossible. You can go and get a padlock, and try an old key with it to see if it's going to work. It's not going to work. The mindset has to change for everything else to be able to change in your life, for your results to be different, for your health to be different, for your wealth to be different, for your income to be different. Let me tell you another thing. Your bank account right now is reflecting your mindset. I'll say that again. Yes, it might be hard, it might be a hard pill to swallow, but your bank account right now is reflecting your mindset. Because really and truly, the money we have in our bank account is not determined by the amount of hard work we do. Because otherwise, laborers will be rich by now because they do hard work and stay in the sun. But your income increases from your mindset, increases from your imagination, increases from the vision you have, increases from the thoughts that you're able to put pen to paper and the value you're able to deliver to the world. That is what gives you income. That is what increases your wealth. The mindset is the foundation of everything because your thoughts determine your belief. Your belief determines your action, and your action creates the result. So I ask you this, and I've asked so many questions. I hope you're writing it. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you have to work and work and work and work till you get the results you want? Or do you believe that you are gifted? You are the best at being you, and anything you lay your hands on turns to gold? Do you wake up in the morning getting excited that it's a brand new day for me to show God's goodness? What mindset, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you are worthy? Do you believe you deserve the good life, you see other people living? Do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe it's possible for you? Because a lot of us don't even believe that life is possible. Because and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how you know you don't believe it. When you see people making it, you're going, maybe this person did that for her. Maybe that person did that for her. You're already putting it down, thinking that maybe they had extra thing done. Yes, they might have had extra thing done. But then again, you focusing on that to think that that's what led them to the success. That's wrong. Or juju, exactly. Or juju, that's wrong. That's already you limiting your mind to think that, if it's not juju, they can't make it. If it's not sleeping with the next person, they can't make it. If they're not doing XYZ, they can't make it. If they're not being crooked, they can't make it. No. What do you believe? Do you believe that with you as you are now, right now, you can do, have whatever it is you desire? Because your thoughts determine the results that you get. I'll say it again so you remember. Your bank account right now is reflecting your most dominant thoughts. It's reflecting what you're focusing on. Are you focusing on abundance? Are you focusing on lack? Are you focusing on scarcity? Are you focusing on I can't do? Are you focusing on I can do? Are you focusing on I believe in myself? Listen, it's time for you to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. There's abundance of everything. There's enough money in the world to go around. The only reason the money is where it is because people are not utilizing the minds that God gave us. God wants everybody to be rich. God wants everybody to be wealthy, because otherwise, how are you going to do kingdom work? How are you going to bring other people to God? God wants his glory to shine through you, so that you're able to give and show that, I am God's child. I call myself God's baby, by the way, to say that I am God's baby and I can give. People with scarcity mindset only see limits. They see limits. They see the I cannot do. They see the he did juju, she slept with someone, who's funding her kind of thing. They see that. They're not using that mindset to creatively think of a solution to, whatever the problem is. In this economy, do you know that you can be the solution provider to all the different things that are not going right in the country? You are a solution provider. And I say this to people as well, that your business ideas, your vision, your dreams is a solution to somebody's problem. Don't be scared. People with scarcity mindset are scared to take action. People with scarcity mindset are limiting themselves. They're procrastinating. But those with an abundance mindset know that this money is everywhere, and I have it by the grace of God. People with abundance mindset see solutions, see challenges as a solution, see problems and think of solutions. They're not problem focused. They're focusing on the solution. So how can we make it better? Okay, this is the problem. We've seen the problem. We've identified the problem. How do we make it better? What do we do next? People with abundance mindset see opportunities everywhere. How can I do this? How can I make this better? And guess what? When you're using these God-given ideas that you have, you're making you're piling in on your bank account as well. And you're living a good life. Your health is, you're focusing on yourself. Your health is better. If you have an abundance mindset, what you focus on in terms of your health will be different as well. You will know that you shouldn't be eating certain foods. You will know that certain things are not good for you. You shouldn't be reading certain books. You shouldn't be watching certain videos or certain movies, because they disturb your imagination. Yeah, scarcity mindset shows up in different ways. Procrastinating, saying that, I'm going to wait till it's perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. You have to go now and then just make it right as you go along. That's, scarcity mindset shows up like that. Scarcity mindset shows up in you saying, I'm not ready yet. Let me go and acquire more knowledge. Let me go and get another degree. Let me go and do another course. You're stalling. That is scarcity mindset. Why are you stalling? A lot of people who don't even have as much as you do in terms of knowledge are out there raking the money in. Why are you stalling? Why are you waiting for perfection? Scarcity mindset is also not taking care of yourself, because you don't value yourself. You don't see yourself as worthy. You don't see yourself as worthy. A lot of us say, I love myself. I love myself. No, because if you love yourself, you will not be doing things that are not in line with where you want to get to. If you love yourself, you will love yourself enough to know that, okay, anything I feed my body, soul, spirit has to be top notch. And top notch doesn't have to break the bank. It just has to be that you're conscious of what you're eating. You're conscious of making yourself well. You're conscious of, sending that proposals, writing that letter. You're conscious of how you're presenting yourself. That is an abundance mindset. You waiting for perfection is a scarcity mindset. You procrastinating is scarcity mindset. You waiting for somebody to give you the go ahead or to give you that validation is scarcity mindset. Because guess what? Every single thing that we need to live this life that we see in our mind's eye is already within us. Yes, we do need people, but you have to take the first step first and then show God what he can bless. Are we here? Please let me see the 111s if we're here. Yeah, and please time me, because I can go on. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to talk about some practical tools that you can use to move yourself from this, scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. I'm going to talk about tools that I even use to rule my mind. I call it ruling your mind, because if you don't rule your mind will rule you. And your mind rules you by giving you all the negative reasons why you can't do something, because your mind wants to keep you safe. Your mind wants to keep you doing the same thing that it knows you're good at. But then again, your mind wants to keep you in your comfort zone. But then again, to move to your next level, you need to go out of your comfort zone. And I use something I call the VAS keys. VAS meaning VAS spelled VASE. V for visualization, A for affirmation, S for scripting and journaling, E for excited energy. Now, when we're talking about visualization, we are also guilty, and I say this, that we have a PhD in visualizing and imagining the wrong things, imagining the worst case scenario. Oh my God, what if that happens? What if that? I'll tell you a quick story. Recently, my daughter did skydiving. And when she told me that she was going to do the skydiving, I was so scared. I was just like, oh my God, why do you want to do it? Even though when I was much, much younger, I thought about doing skydiving in university, but I didn't go ahead because I was scared. Plus, I thought if I told my mom about it, she's just going to freak out and slap sense into me. Like typical African mothers or African parents. So I was so scared. And then I had to remind myself that I should not instill my own fear into her. I had to remind myself that I need to cast down wrongful imagination, because that imagination at that moment was thinking of the worst case scenario. So, and this applies to every single thing we do in our lives. When you have a business idea, the first thing that comes to your mind is, maybe it will not work. There are people doing it. Maybe I shouldn't bother. You're giving yourselves all the negative reasons why it will not work to convince yourself that you should not do it. Instead, from today onwards, you've come to the Wealth Summit. From today onwards, visualize better, imagine better, imagine it going well, visualizing it, going better. Even the Bible says you should cast down wrongful imagination, because God knows that our imagination is so powerful. And if we continue to imagine the worst case scenario, it will happen. Haven't you noticed that sometimes when you think of something bad happening, it happens? The reason it happens is because you have given it life by creating images in your mind and feeling the feeling associated with that image, i.e. fear. You've associated fear with it. You've associated being really, really scared and anxious. And then it happens. Your stomach has gone into a knot. You feel that, that thing pumping in your stomach or in your heart, being scared. You gave it feeling. You giving it feeling means that you're calling it into reality. Now, do you know that same energy can be applied to something positive? You thinking of the best case scenario, looking for ways to get excited about, whatever business idea you have or whatever career you want to go into or you're currently doing, looking at it from a different angle. Because when you look at things, the way you look at when you look at things in a different way, they change. They begin to change. So you need to do that. You need to visualize better. You need to see your life, yourself, living this life that you see in your mind's eye. Because the reason you have that dream and the reason you can see that life in your mind's eye is because it is possible for you. Therefore, visualize better. Next one is A, affirmations. I'm an affirmation expert and an affirmations junkie as well. And I can tell you categorically that a lot of people say the affirmations the wrong way. You think that when you just say, oh, I am rich, you're going to be rich. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to believe the words you are saying. You have to feel the meaning of the words you're saying, just like you feel the fear when something is about to happen. You're supposed to feel the joy when you're expecting something good. You must always expect something good. I have an affirmation that pops up on my phone every now and then. And it says something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Something wonderful is, even sometimes I say it without the alarm coming up, something wonderful is going to happen to me today, because I expect something great to happen to me every day. The words you say to yourself matter. Our words matter because our words create our world. Our words create the world was created by words. Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be Tewa, and here I am. Let there be, Oluchiku, and there she is. Let there be Babatunde. Let there be you guys, and there you are. So speak life into your life. Stop saying, it's not working. You're saying it's not working, it's not working. Of course, it's not going to work. You can't say something negative and expect something positive to come out. Oh, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is bad. Of course it will be bad, because majority of everybody is talking about how bad it is. Why don't we look for the good in the situation? Because every single time there is something good in a situation, even if it is tiny. Look for that good and live in that good. So affirm yourself. Speak to yourself nicely. Sometimes I even rub myself on my shoulder at the back, just saying, Tewa, you're doing well. You're doing well with what you know now. And when you know better, you'll do better. You're doing well. I rub myself on the back. It's very, very important. S is for scripting. Even the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it can run with it. Don't say that your dream is in your head and you know it. My dream is there. I know it. No, write it down so that you can see it every day. I have a journal. Oh, I was going to bring it. I forgot. I have a journal that I write in a book that I write in every single day. In the morning, I'm scripting how I want my day to go. And in the evening, I'm scripting how my day went. And then also rewriting it and how I would like it to be. Listen, your spirit is always talking to you. And when your spirit is talking to you, it's important to write it down because your spirit is directing you. Your spirit is guiding you guiding you about what you should do. Call that person, invest in that place, call Oluchiko, she'll advise you. It's your spirit leading you because your mindset is not changing to somebody that sees themselves as a great investor with millions in their bank account. So it's giving you ideas on how to attain this. And when these ideas come, write them down, take action on them. Don't just sit there. Even if it scares you, take action. And if it doesn't work out, at least that's one less way you know that something will not work out. So take action, script, write it, write your vision, write the way you want your life to go every single day. You're going to a meeting, write how you would like the meeting to go. And every time before you leave the house, always visualize how you want to see yourself every day. I visualize how I want to see myself every single day when I go out or even when I'm at home. How I carry myself, how I speak to people, how warm I am, the kind of results that I close my eyes often because I visualize a lot. So if you're thinking, why is she closing her eyes? I'm always visualizing. Don't mind me, I'm always visualizing. So you have to do that. This is how this is how you rule your mind to rule your health and your wealth. Yeah, you have to, because the mindset work is the work. That is the hard work. Instead of you thinking, oh, I have to work hard to make money. No, the hard work is doing the self-work. Yeah. And then the last E is excited energy. You have to wake up every day and let the devil know that, she is up. He is up. Because he knows that you're going to go out there and be the best version of yourself. You're going to go out there with that excited energy. Now, it's not that you have to be happy 24/7. No, because challenges will come. And God did say challenges will come. But how you respond to the challenges is what matters. How you respond is what matters. So every day, wake up with that excited energy. Even if there's nothing to be happy about, at least be happy that you can breathe by yourself. Because there are people in hospital that are using the gas cylinder to breathe. Be happy that you can even drink Gary if it's Gary, because there are people who want Gary and don't have it. Be excited that you can use your two arms. Be excited that you can see. Even sometimes when I feel a little bit, I call it funky. When I feel a little bit funky, I remind myself that you actually are living in a prayer point that you used to have. So be thankful. And then I think of, all the good things around me, my children. I think about that. I think about, my work. How many people do what they want to do every single day, waking up every day, doing what they love doing. So I begin to, thank God for that. Now, getting this excited energy, the quickest way to do it is just for you to remind yourself of all the good things you have in your life and be thankful and be grateful. Because thinking of those things will bring a smile to your face. Like, God, I used to pray for that thing. And it's here now. Thank you, Lord. That's you changing your mood from a funky mood to a more excited one. Very, very important. And then I would say that you need to practice. So those are my verse keys. And then I would say that you need to practice mindfulness. Be in the moment, be present, because this moment is the only moment we are sure of. Yesterday has gone, and tomorrow, God bless us, we're in tomorrow, but we're not sure of tomorrow. So be present in the moment and manage stress. Breathe. Breathe. It's important to breathe because breathing is life. And breathing also reminds you that you're still alive. And you being alive is it's proof that you still have greatness in you to deliver onto the world. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. I love this community of people who are who are in tune with financial literacy. You want to grow your money, you want to be better, you want to be wealthy, be healthy. This is the right community. So your mindset is even in the right place already. A round of applause for yourself. Your mindset is already in the right place. So surround yourself with people who are going in the direction that you want to go to as well. Growth-minded people. And I will say this, that your mind is the CEO of your life. If you don't manage it, chaos will run the company. I'll say that again. Your mind is the CEO of your life. If you don't manage it, chaos will run the company. Being all over the place, not knowing what you want to do. That's chaos. And don't let your mind take you out of the game of life, because we're in the game of life to win it. And we win it by ruling our mind. Another point about health. Health is wealth. Because without the energy, without without taking care of yourself, what is the point of having that money? What's the point of having that money? And I always say this, that the money we're making, we're not going to use it to buy medicine. No, we want to use it for enjoyment. So you must take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. Take care of your body. Be conscious and intentional about what goes into your body. It's very, very important, because wealth becomes meaningless when the health is all over the place. I was speaking to somebody recently, and the person said that if you have #1,000,000, and you need to, if you have so much money and you need to do XYZ, everything you can still do it because you have the money. But if you have the money and you have one health issue, everything else will go to the back burner because you want to sort out that one health issue. Am I not right? If everything before then, you'll be running around saying, "Oh, my business, my business, my business." But once the body arrests you, there's nothing else to do apart from focusing on that health issue. And we don't want that. So you must take care of yourself. Take care of what you eat. Tell yourself, "I love you." I do that every single day. I even kiss myself. Excuse me. Tell myself I love myself, because you have to. You have to, you must. In fact, I'm gonna give someone, we have an event next week, this weekend coming, on Saturday, called the Wellness and Style Life Experience. Oluchiku, if you will permit me, I'll give one ticket away. You can decide who takes the ticket, and then I'll give everybody 50% discount. If something's fine about 50% discount if you would like to come to the Wellness and Style Life Experience, because we're talking about self-love being a love language. Health is the real wealth. In fact, wellness is key. And you should be at that event, actually. You should be at that event. I'll give everybody, if you come from Personal Finance Girl, we'll give you 50% off so you can join us. Because we're talking about how to, quieten the voice of negative self-talk, how to be self-aware. Because your body will talk to you when something is not going right, in form of headaches, backaches, constipation, diarrhea. Those are the kind of ways your body talks to you. I certainly know that because I listen to my body. And when I'm around somebody and I start having a headache, I know that this conversation is not serving my higher purpose, and I need to change that. So health is wealth. And then the connection between the mind and body, stress. When the body is stressed, when your mind is not at ease, diseases come. I'll say that again. When the body is not at ease, diseases come. Because the body is in, stress mode, flight mode. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to make sure that you're not high flyers like us. We want to work and forget that, someday we can burn out. I've passed out before, and I realized that working so hard and not resting is not serving me. What is the point of making all this money and then using the money to go and buy medication? No, you need to take care of yourself and make sure that you're not burnt out. Because when you're burnt out, you're limiting your capacity to imagine better, to visualize better, to carry out your vision. Oopsie. To carry out your vision. I wonder where this fly came from. Yeah. So for you to, to reach your limit of financial success, you need to make sure that you're living a stress-free life. I mean, yes, it's not possible to live a stress-free life 100% of the time, but at least be intentional about taking care of yourself. Be intentional about taking care of yourself. Now, how do you do this health thing? Prioritize rest and sleep. Me, when I'm tired, when I start to have a little bit of a headache, I stop everything and I go to bed. I might not sleep, but I am on the bed, resting. I'm meditating as well. It's non-negotiable. You have to rest. Otherwise, the body will arrest you. And when the body arrests you, then there's nothing you can do. You have to just now take care of the body. So rest, sleep, movement, exercise, even if it's walking around your house so you count to 100, do it a few times during the day. Very, very important. Rest, it's non-negotiable. I mean, exercise, another non-negotiable. Nutrition, what you're eating, what are you putting into your body? Are you eating junk, and saying that, oh, I'm so busy, I'll quickly eat this, I'll quickly eat that? No, billionaires like us know how to eat right. Even if you eat one meal a day, you will eat it and be whole with it. You can't pour into your business, your career, or your relationships from an empty cup. You need to fill yourself first, and you fill yourself first by taking that well-deserved rest, by moving your body, by using the VAS keys, making sure that you, number one, is up, is in top notch. God deliver me from rice. I know what you're saying, even me. I'm praying to be delivered from rice, but I eat it in moderation now. Yeah. So let's talk about ruling your finances, ruling your mind for your finances. Now, wealth is built, not wished for. You can't sit there and be thinking, oh, I wish I have 1 billion naira right now. No, you must cultivate financial discipline and strategy as well. With whatever it is you're doing right now, you must cultivate that discipline. And the discipline I'm talking about is knowing that, okay, I have to do X, Y, Z at a certain time, and you're going ahead to do it. Part of showing yourself love is doing the things that you promised yourself that you will do. Because if you keep disappointing yourself, your mind will think that you're not serious. So you must tell your mind you mean business and do the things that you mean to do. Discipline, very important. Strategy as well, because your mindset plays an important role in money management. Fear, impulse, or lack of planning, those things sabotage wealth. I'm sure Personal Finance Girl has been telling us that, has been telling you that. Those kind of things sabotage wealth, and they come from a lack and scarcity mindset. Now, how do you build this financial wellness? You need to do your budget. How much does it cost to be you? Do you even know how much it costs to be you every month? There was a time I did a list of my spendings every month and did how much it cost to be me. I was like, I didn't even know I had this much. Like, listing out every single thing you've done in that month, you'll be thinking, what? I dare you to go and get your bank statement and look through from January till now. See the monies that have gone in and out. You will see that you're actually a millionaire. Really and truly. I dare you to go and check and come back and tell us. So you have to budget with intention. Tell your money where to go. Money is here to serve you.
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I have no idea that you.
So tell it where to go. Tell it where to go. And you also have to, in terms of ruling your mind for your wealth, you need to think of multiple streams of income. Nobody survives on one income. Multiple streams of income. That's why God gave us different talents, different things that we can do with our hands. It's possible when you're able to, allocate the time. I'm a mindset stylist. I'm the founder of Exquisite Magazine. I'm the founder of the Eloy Awards. I'm the Eloy Awards Foundation. I'm the founder of the the IMAC Foundation for Cervical Cancer Prevention. I'm an author. I have 6 books. My clients for the mindset styling are high net worth individuals and high achievers. I have all these things. If push comes to shove, there was a time I saw an opportunity for yam, to sell yam at a really good rate. When yam was expensive, I bought bulk yam and sold yam. Yes, multiple streams of income. Very important. And then another big thing, you need to invest in yourself. Invest in your personal development, your skills, your knowledge. You need to invest in yourself. That is why it's important for you to come to the Wellness and Style Life Experience next weekend. I've even given you 50% off. You should invest in your personal development. Invest in yourself. Invest in the personal finance girls, workshops, masterclasses. And then apply the knowledge that you've gotten, because it's easy to get all this knowledge, but applying it is very important. Invest in yourself by networking, going to different places, networking with people, not being shy. Carry your market on your head. That's your financial wellness. That's you ruling your mind to rule your wealth. Money is a tool, not a master. And when you rule your mind and your health, you will rule your money too. I'll say that again. When you rule your mind, you rule your health, you will rule your money too. Yeah, are we here? So in closing, I'm going to say this. If you want true wealth, don't just chase money. Build from the inside out. If you want true wealth, don't just chase money. Build from the inside out, because every single thing is inside of us. Rule your mind. Guard your health. Be very, very protective of your health. And your finances will definitely follow, because you have that energy. You have that, you have that mindset to pursue whatever it is you want. If you want true wealth, don't chase money. Build from the inside out. Rule your mind, guard your health, and your finances will follow. Thank you so much. So I'm going to leave you with this assignment, or this homework, so to speak. This week, I want you to commit to a mental habit that is going to serve your purpose. Visualization, scripting, affirmation, excited energy, your one mental habit, meditation. Commit to it. Also commit to one health habit. Maybe drink more water, in my case, or eat less rice, or eat eba less, or eat once or twice a day. Because really and truly, most of the diseases that happen to us are caused by food, because food have a lot of processed things in them. I definitely do intermittent fasting every day. I don't eat till 1 or 2 every single day. And it has helped my body. My skin is good. My periods are not as heavy as they used to be. My migraine has gone down. So I always recommend to people to do intermittent fasting. But by all means, check with your doctor first. But choose one health habit you're going to change. And then choose one financial habit that you're going to change as well. Because tiny, tiny steps compound into lasting wealth. Compound into lasting wealth, health and wealth. And your mindset is growing. And I have to tell you this, that ruling your mind is a lifestyle. It's not a one-off thing. You have to do it every single day, because another mountain will require another level of mindset awareness for you to get to that next level. The life you desire also desires you, but you have to convince yourself to get your mindset right. Rule your mind, rule your health, and your finances will follow. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope this has been insightful. Thank you.
So
Amen.
much.
And you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So everyone, if you've learned something from this session, please tell Dr. Tewa thank you and put it in the chat what you'll be taking away from this session. And we're also going to be having another session. So we're going to have Dr. Tewa by the side, but I'm going to allow you catch your breath for a bit. And we're going to bring in on Michelle Adesonya. She is also a health professional. She's a counselor. She's a growth specialist. She's a mental health therapist. But no, not to worry. I won't be the one doing all of that. I'm going to play a bio, and then we'll move on to the fireside chat. After the fireside chat, then if you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A box, and we're going to get to 1 or 2 of them before we call it an evening. We have just around 15-20 minutes to go. So don't get tired yet. Don't get tired. We still have a bit of time to have a few more conversations. So thank you so much, Ma, for that really insightful conversation. I see a number of people already dropping what they're going to be taking away from today's session. Please tell Dr. thank you, and also drop what you've learned from the session. Write it out, because the more you write it out, the more it sticks with you, right? So put that in the chat so that other people who came in late can also pick that up. But yeah, thank you so, so much, Dr. Tewa. And now I'm going to be playing Michelle's bio so that we can move on to the next segment. Don't be tired. If you have a friend that needs to be here, this is the right time to call them in, because we're just around like the most interesting part of today's conversation.
Introducing Michelle Toby Adesanya. Michelle Toby Adesanya is an emotional healing and growth specialist, counselor, coach, and consultant. She's dedicated her life to helping people heal, find purpose, and live whole. She graduated at the top of her class with an A+ grade in professional counseling and earned the award for the best graduating student. Beyond the books, Michelle brings heart, faith, and expertise to guide people through life's toughest seasons. She's the visionary behind Creators Haven Global, Lightroom, Journey to Discovering Purpose, and more. These platforms are built to restore hope, inspire growth, and equip people to thrive. Michelle isn't just a counselor, she's shaping the next generation one life at a time by blending faith-based wisdom with practical, evidence-based strategies. This September, catch her speaking at the WealthUp Summit by your personal finance girl, where she'll be sharing even more tools to help you step into your full potential.
Thank you all so much for dropping what you've learned from the last session as well. Please, can we welcome Michelle Adesanya on stage? Please give her a round of applause, virtual round of applause, of course. I'm not seeing it in the chat. Can we keep up the energy? I love the energy. Please, let's keep it up. Okay, so we're going to be asking, we're going to be having like a very beautiful conversation. Oh, my video has been off. We're going to be having a very beautiful conversation with Michelle. She's going to be shedding more light on a few that we've pretty much pushed to the side. So yes, Michelle, please let's do another check. Can you please say hello to us?
Hello everyone, good evening.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for gracing the YPFG community anniversary. We're super, super excited to have you. We're super delighted to have you. We're very grateful to you and Dr. Tewa for coming to share from your wealth of knowledge, right? Because these conversations are one that I know needs to be had. And while it would have been easy to just open my mouth and just say them, they would think that, oh, you're a finance. So I said, let's also bring a counselor. So let's have a conversation around what's it called? Health as a capital, because we have a lot of young professionals. When people were signing up, like community members were indicating that they were going to attend this session, a number of them were actually young professionals. And I want them to see that there is a direct correlation between your mental health and your finances. Would you like to share why it's important to treat your health as one of the most valuable financial assets, especially leaning into mental health?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. And good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. This is a very important question, and I'm really glad that we are having this conversation, because many times a lot of people get to just not pay attention to this aspect of their lives. But I like to say that your mind is like your powerhouse. If you listen to everything that Dr. Tewa said, she was talking about how powerful the mind is and how much the reality that you want can be created in your mind, right? So she said everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in reality. So when you have that understanding that this mind is a powerhouse, it's powerful, it's the hub where literally everything that I want to create starts from, you start to pay attention to it and you start to see why it is very important to pay attention to your mental health, pay attention to your emotional wellness, pay attention to the state of your mind, because you know that this thing is literally what creates every single thing that I want. So you want to create wealth, you want to create abundance, you want to create the life that you dream of. You know that everything starts from your mind. And when you know and you understand this, begin to pay much attention to it and start to take care of it. You start to treat it, you know, the way people do skincare, you say, oh, my face has to be glowing, my skin has to pop and all of that. You start to do the same thing for your mind as well. You start to do the same thing for your emotions. So pay attention to those things. You take care of yourself because you know that everything that I want to have, everything that I want to create starts first from there.
Thank you so, so much. So everything starts from our mind, everything that we want to create. We have to take, I love the example how, you see the way we're very serious about skincare. Our mind needs to be nurtured and taken care of in the same light, right? Thank you so much for that. But I'd also like to talk about stress, because stress is one thing that I see a lot of young Nigerians go through. How exactly does lifestyle choices silently drain our potential? Like, how can we find some sort of balance? Is it from poor sleep, poor eating, and all of that?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so a lot of times, one thing people that follow me know that I say something a lot. I say that burnout is not a badge of honor, right? There's a way we get to glamorize the idea of, oh, I work so hard, I don't sleep, I've only had 2 hours sleep in the last maybe 24 hours or the last 48 hours. And we keep talking about these things. And we do not know that eventually, in the long run, these things get to have a negative impact on our well-being as a whole. So one of the things that one of the habits that a lot of people, are not taking note of is that they don't pay attention to rest. They don't pay attention to their emotional well-being. What is your emotional state of mind? As much as you do physical check-ins, you go to the hospital to check, your body to be sure that, okay, all my vitals are, correct and everything is good. You have to start doing emotional check-ins too, mental check-ins too. Why do I feel this way? If you've noticed that, oh, I've been cranky for a very long time. I don't know why I just snap out easily. I don't know why I am sluggish with the things that I'm usually very, up and doing with. You have to start paying attention to those things, because whether you know it or not, these things have a significant impact on your productivity, your creativity, because creating wealth starts from there. If you're not able to, if your creativity is not as it should be, how do you have the ideas, that you implement to create the kind of wealth that you desire? How are you able to show up for your business? How are you able to show up for life? So the habits I know people need to pay attention to is, you have to pay attention to your sleeping habits. How do you prioritize rest? And I always like to tell people that rest is not a reward. Rest is not something that you reward yourself for the work that you have done. Rest is a part of growth, is a part of productivity, is a part of your well-being. So it's not something that you are proud of, that, oh, some people are very proud of the fact that they've not slept. Oh, I hardly sleep, I hardly do this, I hardly do that. And they keep saying it, and they don't know that you are actually killing yourself slowly when you're doing that. Because when you rest, you realize that there's a way you are able to function. There's a way you are able to, your state of mind is in a very good place to give you the kind of results that you want. So I'll say paying attention to your sleeping habits, your resting habits, and also your emotional well-being as well as a person. These things are so important.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. So I love how you emphasized on rest as well, because that is one thing that I myself, there are times when I fall short of it, and I always have to call myself back, because if you're not whole, you won't be able to get all of those things that you want to do for yourself, right? So I don't know, could you share practical steps that we can imbibe into our lives to help us pretty much navigate this mental health, building wealth, putting like life together, so that we don't tend to just hit burnout as fast as would I say our pals who do not take note of all of these things?
Okay. Yeah. So number one thing I would say, which is something I'm also learning, is boundaries. Right? Learn how to set healthy boundaries. Learn how to say no to certain things. It's not everything that you say yes to, especially people that are in the professional space. There's a way that you're trying to climb up the professional ladder, you're trying to get things done, and you become that person who wants to take on everything. You want to accept every responsibility. You want to be the one that people can depend on. While that is good, it's very important for you to set healthy boundaries. So what are the things that you will learn to say no to, right? You have to learn to say no. This is something that is so important. learn how to say no. Be very, like somebody said here, be very disciplined with your boundaries. Yeah. So yes, it's one thing to set boundaries, it's another thing to actually be disciplined and to enforce those boundaries. So a lot of times we set boundaries, but we don't know how to enforce it. So you have to learn how to not just set boundaries, but also, enforce those boundaries. Another thing I'll say is be intentional about creating a routine around yourself that gives room for you to rest and recharge. One thing I do is I never allow myself to get to a point where I start feeling burnt out or experiencing fatigue and all of those things. And how I've been able to achieve that over the years is by creating systems and structures that allows me to rest, retreat, and recharge, right? As a person who is constantly giving, pouring, producing, creating, there is a point you get to in your life where you feel overwhelmed by everything. You feel overwhelmed by the weight of the things that you're carrying. So one of the things I've had to learn personally is creating routines for rest, recharge, and retreat. So for me, what I do is I have, apart from the regular things that I do daily, I also have like quarterly retreats where I take sometimes up to a week off. I'm not doing anything that is stressful. I'm just recharging myself. I'm off social media. I'm off all of those things that, because whether you like it or not, these things have an impact on ourselves, right? On our lives. So I have those systems where I'm just there, and it could be you just deciding that I want to read a book. It could be you deciding that, okay, for the next few days, I am just going to be sleeping. So rest means different things to different people. For some people, the idea of rest is that people should not even call me. I just want to go to my room and sleep for the next maybe 6 hours and all of that. That's a good way to rest and recharge. For some people, is I want to read a book by the beachside. Some people is just listening to calm music. Some people is journaling, whatever it is that you do that helps you to stay in touch with yourself. There's something that Dr. Tewa talked about, which is mindfulness. You realize that a lot of people are not present in their own lives. A lot of people don't even know how to be present in their own lives because we are constantly chasing, constantly, trying to get the next thing, the next bag, the next big thing. You just find yourself in that web where you are constantly looking for something, trying to get something. And without knowing, you find yourself in a loop where you are just exhausted and you're just trying to function through life. You're dragging yourself to function through life. So you have to be very intentional about creating routines around you, for rest, for recharge. And then another thing you can also do is to, find ways to prioritize your emotional well-being. How do you recharge yourself mentally? How do you recharge your mind, your emotions? How do you feel about yourself? These things are so important. And when you do these things consistently, you realize that you find yourself in a much better emotional well-being, emotional state of mind, and even mental state of mind as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was just nodding my head all through, like I'm going to pick up that quarterly, just running away from everybody and recharging. I have to implement that for myself as soon as possible. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm also going to have to call Dr. Tara for this next question. I would love you to like expand on, because there's something about balance. How can we balance our mental health with trying to be number one in everything that we do? We're trying to also have a family. Like, there are a lot of things always dragging our attention. But how would you advise, like, or just educate us on what we should do, what we should take note of? Because at the end of the day, this somewhat also affects how we are able to earn, because once you're stressed, once you're burnt out, once you're exhausted, there's really not much you can do. So I don't know if you'd love to share with us on balance. Yeah.
Right. So, I don't like to use the word balance because I feel like, it's you really can't get a balance, to be honest with you. And what? I'm 47 next month, so I believe I've lived enough to be able to say that being able to juggle things, at one point, one ball will fall and it's not your fault, it's life. And it's just looking for a way to make sure, I prefer to use the word work-life integration. So you're integrating your life into your work. You know what's important at what time, and you're able to perform at your best at those times, which will be different times in your life, different in the times in a day. When it's time to look after the children, when it's time to go to work, when it's time to go to a meeting, when it's time to, be attentive to your family, to your partner, things like that. We can't, when I say that we can have it all, what I mean is, yes, we can have it all, but we have to have that work-life integration, making sure that whatever you're doing rolls nicely, whatever you're doing personally rolls nicely into your work, and whatever you're doing with your work rolls nicely into your life. I'm not saying be taking work home more and not paying attention, because there's a time for everything, but it's just being able to make sure that what's important at what point is dealt with, because there will be times where it's very important for you to attend key meetings. And if you're not sorting out who is going to take the kids to school, you're going to drop that ball. Do you understand what I mean? So when you know that you're doing something with work, at least you're getting somebody to help you with the house. You're surrounding yourself with that support network at home and at work. Support network at home that can help you sort out the children or sort out food or sort out things. Support network at work, your staff that know exactly what they're doing, and you've put that proper structure in place. Very important to put a proper structure in place so everybody knows what they're doing. Do you understand what I mean? And, so you're able to now do those things. It might look effortless, but it is, like I always say, that there's an army of support network behind me, so that to be able to do this thing that I do. At one point in my life, there's, I need to do X, Y, Z. I'm able to do that. And then also carving that time for yourself, because you also need to take care of yourself. You also, you can't pour from an empty cup. You also need to take care of yourself. So it's just looking for a way. And I say it again, it might sound repetitive, but that's the way it is. Looking for ways to integrate it and having that support structure. Very, very important. So when you have to go to work, you have people that will help you. When you have to be at home, you have people that will help you. And you're structuring your life in a way that, you're able to juggle these balls and juggle them well.
Wow.
I hope
Hi,
that
Michelle. You also need that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please contribute to that.
Okay. Yeah, so honestly, everything she said is literally the same thing I'm going to say. I also don't believe in this whole idea of balancing. Okay, you want to balance this and balance that. What I've learned personally over time is learn how to prioritize. So know what you need to prioritize at time. There are seasons in your life where you know that, oh, I need to go hard into my job, right? And you know that I need to put everything that I have, every of my time, my energy, and all of those things into my work. But you also know that there is also a time where I know that I need to rest, because if I don't rest, I'm going to break down. So it's very important to know what to prioritize per time. And that's what makes it look like you are able to effectively balance your life, because there is no such thing as balance actually. Is, like she said, integration. I like to call it harmony. When you're able to create an harmony between work and rest. So you know when it's time to work. When it's time to work, you work like there is no tomorrow. And when it's time to rest, you rest like there is nothing to be done. Do you understand? So it's very important to be able to prioritize those things. And then creating systems, like she said. And one of the things that I've learned to do is allow people to get things done. There's this mindset we have, like nobody can do it like me. I
Yeah.
ask someone that is doing this thing. You will just burn out in the process. So you have to allow yourself, take some steps back sometimes, and put people in charge of things. When you do that, you are able to create more time for other things as well, and also create more time for your own self and your own well-being.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that excellent addition. So I think what I'll just love you to pretty much add is, like, when we talk about our health, when we talk about our mental health, right? What are those action steps or those daily habits? I think Dr. Tewa said something earlier too, like those tiny habits that we can incorporate that may seem little, but if we remain consistent, would help us like reap the reward, like the benefit at the end of the day.
Okay. So one habit that I'm going to emphasize, and I think I mentioned it a little bit, but I'll say proper rest, sleep. Yes, sleep. As little as a lot of people take sleep for granted, but sleep is so important, right? As little as just taking, time. There's something I started learning how to do is power naps, right? So you know that you're not going to sleep for 8 hours, but from time to time, I can just take a few minutes, or even if it's an hour, to just rest and allow my mind, my brain to just be calm. It's very, very important because there's so many things that goes on in your body and even in your mind when you take out time to rest. So it's very important that you learn to prioritize sleep. Sleep as often as you can when you ought to. Don't be pressing. There's a way that a lot of us, especially this our generation, we're always on our phone, and you can be on your phone till like 12 midnight, and you're just pressing, pressing, pressing. And the time that you're supposed to use to rest, or the time you're supposed to sleep, you're pressing your phone into the night. And you don't know that these things have an impact on your well-being. You just realize you're always stressed, you're always tired, you're always exhausted. You can't even explain. Your creativity is not even as sharp as it should be. That's
Yeah.
because you're not taking out time to rest. You're allowing these little things to creep into you. So one thing, very little but very significant thing that you should learn how to do is learn how to sleep. And one thing that I also do for emotional regulation is I'm learning how to journal. And it's something I started learning how to do, I think, about 2 years ago, to just a way to process how I feel about certain things. When I'm overwhelmed and I am just feeling clogged up emotionally, I just write. And the thing about journaling is it doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times people think that, oh, you have to be a good writer, you have to be very creative with your words. No, just scribble out how you feel. I remember, I think earlier this year, so I lost my mom last year, and I remember that going into our 1 year anniversary, or 1 year remembrance of our passing, I was overwhelmed emotionally. And one thing I don't like to do is go and dump on people. So I just picked up my journal, and then I started just writing everything raw, unfiltered. I was just expressing how I felt. And I realized that gradually I started to feel better. I started to feel lighter. Why? Because I've been able to, pour out what I was feeling inside of me. And this is something that I want to encourage a lot of people to learn to do. Write. You may not necessarily be with a pen and a paper. You can have maybe a notepad in your notes where you're just writing out things to yourself. Maybe you're writing a letter. You're just expressing yourself. Those little things, they look insignificant, but these things are very powerful. It helps
Yeah.
you to release yourself, release the emotions, so you are not unnecessarily overwhelmed or agitated. There are people that are going up and down, but they are carrying so much emotions and weight. And that's why sometimes you meet a person on the road, they are lashing out on you. They are talking to you anyhow. Why? Because they've carried so much, and there's no channel to express it. So when they see somebody, they just pour out on that person and lash out on those people because they've not learned how to regulate themselves better and express themselves. So yes, learn how to, journal, express yourself, channel your emotions the right way. Those are things that will help you. And then, like I mentioned earlier, and also Dr. Tewa mentioned, learn how to practice mindfulness, being present in the now. It's very important. Be present in the now. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And I'm learning that, and it's been so freeing because I'm the kind of person that I'm that kind of person that I want to know what is going to happen next. Like, what is tomorrow going to be like? What is my future like? And it just puts you in a state of anxiety. And when you're in that state of anxiety, it affects your mental well-being, it affects your emotional well-being. So get to a point where you learn how to be present, you learn how to be calm, you learn how to enjoy the moment. Enjoy today. Don't be bothered about what's going to happen tomorrow, how you're going to pay your school fees, how you're going to make the next money. Just focus on now, focus on the moment and enjoy. I know it's very hard, but learn how to do it. And then finally, I'll say meditation, practice meditation. Sometimes there are so many amazing instrumental, calming music. For me, I love music a lot. So music helps me to just recharge and just enjoy myself. So there are instrumental music you can find on YouTube, very calm, just play them, listen to them. There are some that are even laced with scriptures. So as you are listening to those music, there are scriptures that are in front of you. And just listen to those things, allow them to calm you, pay attention to God's word, meditate on it. These things help you. You just realize that you have a richer, mental well-being, a richer emotion. You're just better, and you respond to people better. You talk to people better. You are more confident. it just helps you really. So those are the 4 things that I'm going to leave you with. And as you practice them, you see changes in how you respond to life, respond to people, and respond to situations as well.
Yes. And can I also add something with the about journaling? Well said, Michelle. About journaling. So every month I go back to all the stuff I had written the month before. And this is all part of getting to know myself, getting to know yourself. And from what you've written, how your month has gone, all the different activities you've done, what went well, what didn't, you will begin to see your own pattern and see your own self in another light. And I always say this, that success leaves footprints. When you're journaling, you're able to see what you did in a particular situation that you might be able to apply to another situation that is happening now. So journaling, writing, scripting is a great tool. Like Michelle said, you don't have to be perfect. Just pour it out there. There are some things that are going on in our minds that we can, or in our hearts that we can't necessarily tell people about, but write it on paper. Trust me, you will feel better. And then another thing about the health thing is for you to be able to decide what is going to work for you, you need to do something I call the self-audit. Who are you? You need to know yourself, because what works for me or what works for Michelle might not necessarily work for you. What works for Oluchi might not necessarily work for me. So you need to determine what works for you, what is better for you. What do you want? Who are you? A lot of people think they know themselves, but then again, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of who am I, you will begin to realize that you've just been on the surface and also living to what other people say you are, what your mother or your father said you are, or your parents or your siblings or your partner. So you need to identify, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? As Tara Onosoya, who am I? The real me. What do I like? What relaxes me? Because when you know what relaxes you, then you'll be able to do more of that. Look at, I don't know if you can hear it, but I've been listening to this music all through the time, in fact, all through today, to relax me. And that's what I do. I know that if I listen to waterfalls or something meditative or a particular gospel music, it relaxes me. So I do that every single day, even when I'm in the car, I do that. And then I have my affirmations recorded on my phone. Sometimes when I'm in somebody's lobby, waiting for a meeting, I put my earpiece on and I listen to my affirmations, because I'm grounding myself and I know myself that it works for me. So identify what works for you and do it as often as possible, because really and truly, the only person that can save you is you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Michelle, for that answer. So I'm going to ask Michelle one more question, and then we can leave it open to the house to ask a few more questions before calling it a beautiful evening. So Ada says, what if you find yourself in a constant loop of always resting and not actually putting in the work? What do you do?
Okay, thank you. That is a very important question, because I think that will help me to also bring a balance to what I said. Because I said you should rest does not mean that you are not doing anything. And then you're always resting. When you are in that position where you are always resting and not doing anything, then that's laziness, right? So the rest I'm talking about is not encouraging laziness and saying that you're going to be complacent and doing nothing. No. You have to find your, in fact, you have to find your hands doing something, right? So you have to have something that you're doing with your hands or you're creating with your mind, and be very intentional about it. So when I say rest, I'm not saying that be laid back, be complacent, don't do anything at all, just be resting and be sleeping from morning till night. Poverty will enter into your life.
Even the
Without your
Bible says it.
so it's so important that you understand the difference between rest and laziness. So rest is not that I am not working, I'm not doing anything. It's that after work, because even the Bible, had to emphasize the importance of rest. God created, did creation for 7 days. On the seventh day, He rested. So you see that there was a pattern of work, there was a pattern of creation, and on the seventh day, He rested. So you have to find something you're doing and know that you have something that you're doing, and then also know how to incorporate rest into what you're doing, not lazing around and doing nothing and saying that, because Michelle said you should rest. I'm resting. No, no, no. So it's very important to be able to understand the difference between.
And to add to that, it might be a form of self-sabotage as well. Your mind is trying to keep you in your comfort zone. Your mind is trying to get you out of the game of life. And you have to rule your mind, knowing exactly what you need to do and be disciplined enough and loving yourself enough to take action on it. Because there's a difference between resting and laziness. There's a difference between resting and procrastinating and, hiding behind, oh, let me sleep some more. No, it could be your mind just, or your nervous system not used to wanting the level of success that you've already seen in your mind's eye. And because you're scared, keeping you in that, keeping you on that level instead of helping you get to the next level. So, look within and identify why you're, resting and resting and resting and not taking action.
Oh, thank you so much, man. So I do hope that you got this, because you have to be sure that you're not using rest as an excuse not to work. But we've had like a really lovely time here today. I have learned a lot. My notepad has been filled up to the brim, right? So I'm going to ask, does anybody have any questions for both our speakers so that they can shed more light? This is like a mini one-on-one to shed more light to whatever burning question you have before we let them go. I've also learned a lot. That's what Mercy has to say. Please, I have a question. How do you let go of past failures? How do you let go of past failures?
You learn from them. What did this teach me? And what does it tell me about myself? You learn from them. And listen, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has fears. Everybody has doubts. But we move ahead anyway. So it's just learning from them. That's the only thing, learning from them. What worked? I mean, why didn't it work? Okay, so I know for next time I wouldn't take this step. But at least you celebrate yourself because you took action. That's how you knew that it will not work. So celebrate yourself and clap for yourself, because that shows that you love yourself enough to even take action. It might not have worked, but then again, one thing that will not work. So it's learning from it and rising.
Okay. So I also like to add that learn not to personalize failure. So you could have failed at something, maybe at a business or an examination or anything. There's a difference between this thing failed and I failed. A lot of times when something fails, you say, I failed. I failed this exam, I failed this thing. So learn to detach yourself from that failure experience. Failure is an experience that literally almost everybody actually goes through in life, right? And you learn from it. But never get to that point where you now start to personalize it and make it your own identity. So don't get to a point where it's like, oh, you see yourself as a failure because you failed. When you do that, you put yourself in a web of consistently sabotaging yourself and being afraid to move, and do something else because you're afraid that what if I fail at this thing again? And that is a negative, situation to ever find yourself in. So learn to not personalize failure as yours and to detach yourself from that experience.
Thank you so much. So we have like 2 or 3 questions already lined up. So do know that if you don't ask your question right now, I'm going to lock the spot. So thank you. So the next question that we have here says, how can I practice mindfulness?
By grounding yourself, being present in the moment. So I'm going to refer, Oluchi, I hope you don't mind, but there's a thing we did on Exquisite Magazine, or even it's often on my page as well. We did the A to Z of mindfulness. And we did that in preparation for the Wellness and Style Weekend coming next week. It's important for us to be present in the moment because we're always so fearful of the future and, scared of the past. If I got that the right way, always thinking of the past and fearful of the future. And I said it earlier today that this moment is the moment that we're sure of, the moment that we know, and the moment we're in. So it's important for us to be grounded in this moment, be present, in this moment. When I talk about being present, I'm talking about noticing what's around you this moment, noticing your breath as you breathe in and out, being present. A lot of us eat and don't even sometimes taste the deliciousness of our food. If I ask someone now that, do you know water has a taste? A lot of people will probably think, what am I talking about? But when you're conscious and you're present in the moment, you will know that different waters have different tastes. Nestle taste is different from Eva water, it's different from Nirvana, it's different from, different waters. So you have to be present in the moment and also being appreciative of this moment, quietening your mind. Fair enough, it's not possible to be able to do that 24/7 of the day, but be intentional to choose that, okay, you know what? I want to really feel being alive. And feeling being alive is noticing you're breathing in and out, because only the living can breathe in and out. Noticing that, staying grounded in the present, noticing what's around you, getting that fresh air in, breathing that fresh air in. Those are the kind of things that you use to practice mindfulness. I would suggest that you read the A to Z of mindfulness that we've posted on our pages, and just know more. I think A is for awareness, being aware of your surroundings. B is for breath. I can't remember what C is, maybe calming yourself, being present, not being, Miss Michelle talked about being on the phone on this generation that we're always, even when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you're doing is checking your phone, leaving your gadgets in another room. Sometimes I do that. I just leave my phone upstairs and I, just leave it because I want to center myself. I want to, have a relationship with myself. So those are the kind of things that you need to be mindful, to practice mindfulness, meditation as well, quietening your mind, because we have all sorts of thoughts that are going on in our minds 24/7. But you want to calm that, that mind, that storm. Even the Bible says, be still, because in that still moment is when ideas come to you. In that relaxed moment is when you're able to collect your thoughts. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, thank you so much, Ma. So I think I'm going to ask Mrs. Michelle, do I have to journal every day? This is another question that came in. This is another question that came in already.
Okay. All right. So do you have to journal every day? No. So there was something that Dr. Taylor said, you have to find what works for you. So maybe journaling might not necessarily be your thing. So you have to find what works for you and how you are able to stay in touch with yourself. And if you choose that, okay, I want to journal, you don't have to journal every day. So I created something for myself. I created a gratitude journal, and I go into that gratitude journal at the end of every week, right? So I don't necessarily write every day, but I know that at the end of the week, I come to take, stock of my week, how my week went, what are the things I'm grateful for this week, what are the things that happened to me, what are the things that maybe the prayers that were answered, all of those things. So I do that at the end of the week because that's what works for me. For some people, something else could work for you. It could be taking a walk, it could be practicing mindfulness, like we have said here. It could be anything. So you find out what works for you personally, and stick to it. That's the only way you can get results from it. Because many times people can come and share, what works, and it's because they've tried it and it helps them, to stay grounded in themselves. For you, it may be something else. Our personality differs. Where we're coming from is different. Our environment, the things that we've been exposed to, and all of that. So for you, it might not be your thing, and it may be your thing. So you don't have to do it every day. And if you choose to do it every day, yes, you can. It just depends on what works for you and what helps you to stay grounded. Yeah.
Yeah, knowing yourself, very key.
Very key.
I personally journal every day because I don't want to forget anything. I want to remember, what happened in January that got me excited or got me sad. So I write every experiences down every day, because remember I said earlier that I do I refer back and read through. That's why I journal every day. But it's up to you. It's whatever works for you. That's why you have to know yourself. Do that self-audit and then decide.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. So, Dr. Tim, I'm going to ask you to answer this particular one because this person says, good evening, Ma. People always say learn from your mistakes. Every disappointment is a blessing in disguise. But if we're honest, if you're disappointed once, there's almost no energy to this or desire to take that bold step again. What happens when you find yourself in such position?
Great question. The thing is, in fact, I'm going to start referencing a quote I heard recently. Now, who give up effort? Yeah? Now, who give up effort? The thing is, you will always be faced with disappointments. You will always be faced with challenges. But it's you now rising from those challenges, from those disappointments. By all means, cry. Even say, you know what, I'm taking a break for a week, I'm taking a break for a month, whatever it is that will help you, do it. But then again, go back to the drawing board and say, okay, so where did I go wrong? How did I, what should I have done? And then try again. If at first you don't succeed, you go back and try again till you succeed. Because, and I strongly believe this, and I say this from this point of view, because I've experienced this. Disappointment doesn't mean that it's over. It just means that, okay, maybe you're not ready for it yet. Maybe you're speaking to the wrong person. Maybe you haven't articulated your value properly. So try again. It might be difficult. And like I said, and I'm going to say it again, by all means, take your time. Cry, sleep, do whatever. Don't even go there again for a while. Whatever makes you, whatever makes you feel better. But do not give up because it is possible. There are people doing it and you can do it as well. Being disappointed, at that point is just a way to get you to readjust. And then when you come back, you're coming back from a place of experience, from a place of knowledge, because you've done it before and you've seen that outcome before. Yeah, I hope that helps. So by all means, fall down 9 times, get up 10. And when you rise, make sure you're taking no prisoners. You're going for it. You're going for it till you get that result.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matt. So there are 2 more questions here, and that will be all for today. I want to say thank you to everyone that has been here, that has been active. We even already got a gift from Dr. Tewa. One person is getting a free ticket, and the rest of you are going to get 50% off for the event that's happening next week, Saturday. So please, if you're interested, do well to drop it in the community so that Toby can help you get secure your spots very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and read the last 2 questions together so we can just answer it at once because we're 5 minutes behind schedule. So how can I make my mind get hungry for success or have enough why to actually put in the work or have enough why to actually put in the work? Because I know I want a good life and I also have enough why, but it sometimes feels like it's not enough. That is question number 1. She feels like she needs to understand how to get more hunger and enough why to keep pushing. Then the second question goes like this. Everyone speaks on networking, but how do you personally network with people? I have heard a lot of people speaking on you have to surround yourself with people that are heading in the right direction. You envision yourself going. First things first, I think I'll answer that first stop of your question because you're already in the YPFG community. All of us in this community want to get better with our finances. So you're already moving in the direction with people that want the same thing as you, right? So what is that goal that you have? Join communities. That is like the easiest way. But then when it comes to networking and talking with people, and you have to have like a common ground because you cannot come and meet me and I like volleyball and you like basketball. There is no sync, right? So that is the idea behind networking. But how do you network? E.g., going for conference, how do you exactly network in that space? Do you just walk up to someone and speak about your goals and all? Thank you, Ma. So we had 2 questions that that had to be answered. How do you network and how do you have a strong enough why to keep pushing?
If you're looking for a strong enough why, you don't have your why yet.
Mm.
You don't have you're not hungry yet. Because if you're hungry for that success, you will have a strong why that will propel you. People say that, sometimes your dreams scare you that you wake up and you're running because you want to get it done. Your why is not strong yet. You're still jollophing, you're still enjoying. When you get a strong why, trust me, your mind will move unless you self-sabotage yourself. When you get a strong why, you will be driven to write that letter. You'll be driven to speak to that person. In the midst of the crowd, you will find a way. Look at that lady with the issue of blood. Her strong why is, I don't want to do this again. Did she not get through the crowd to get to Jesus to touch the hem of his garment? Your why, it's the why that will propel you. And in the days of disappointment, it's the why that will let you to keep, that will help you to keep moving, to keep going. So your why is not strong enough. You need to, it needs to be personal finance girl. For you to start this community, you have a strong why. You want financial liberation for women, and it keeps you awake at night. The why has to be strong. That's when the mind, you're at the moment, you're letting your mind take you out of the game by you agreeing with your mind that your why is not strong enough. But get that right why and rule your mind. You will get up and go. You will work on a Saturday you will work on a Sunday if you need to. Because your why is strong enough and you know where you're going. Now for the second lady, how do you network going for conferences? The number one rule, don't just go to someone and speak about your goals. You're gonna chase them away. You're gonna chase that person away. So I like to approach networking from a symbiotic relationship point of view, not a parasitic one. So when I say symbiotic, what I mean is you meet people, you introduce yourself to them, you have maybe like a quick, 30-second or, a few more seconds of what you do, and then, ask what they do as well. Collect, swap details, and then you're sending text messages to say, oh, I met you at XYZ, I'd like us to have a conversation. Maybe there's a way we can align. That's networking. That's knowing what the person does, them knowing what you do, seeing where the alignment can come, and then you building that relationship, not asking for anything, but you, showing them what value you can give to them. That's in case of, networking with people. In case of, because there's another part, there's mentoring. When you're looking for mentors, don't just go to an event and say, ma, sir, I want you to be my mentor. They're going to be like, I don't even know you. Yes, we mentor people we don't know, but you can't hit someone with that. You have to first show what you do and show that you can deliver value, because everybody wants value. Even you that want to mentor, the value you want is for them to guide you or advise you. For networking reason, you want to be able to, build your network, because they say that your network is your network. So you want to build it. So that's the value you're looking for from that person. So offer help. How can you be of service to them? How can you, be of value to them? Then if they can see that you want to freely give, they will want to be invested. Because really and truly, nobody really likes, people of high value, high achievers like us, we don't really like to take things for the fun of it. We also want to give back. So they will want to say, oh, if she did this or if he did that, let me also pour into him or her. That's the way networking works. And the more you do it, the more you build your confidence. So you can't just go to one event a year. No, go to all the events. Let them see you, exchange business cards. You're networking. You're building your network. I hope that helps.
Thank you so, so much, Ma, for that. And to everyone that has stayed put, that has asked one question, that has nodded, that has clapped, that has reacted, thank you all so much. But one last thing before we go, the very last one, the very, very last one, I promise you. I want our speakers to tell us where we can find them, right? Because there's so much from Michelle, there's so much from Dr. Tiwa, and I feel like we've done justice, but we can still get more, right? So please, Michelle, where can we find you? How can we network with you? I think that is it.
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. These are the two social media platforms that I use. On Instagram is Michelle the Beacon together, Michelle the Beacon, and on LinkedIn is Michelle Toby Adesoya. Yes, so that's it.
Thank you so much.
And I've just put my Instagram handle, and my LinkedIn is Tewa Onosanya. Everywhere on social media is Tewa Onosanya. What else? Yeah, those are the I think LinkedIn or one of them has an email address that you can send an email to as well. And you can send DMs, you can send messages, and yeah, those are the ways you can reach me and keep in touch.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. And yes, if you're on the community, don't worry. Our able community manager is going to furnish us with all of these details. So fear not, you're going to be getting all of that. But yes, if you did get value, if you did enjoy your time here, you can do a screenshot, post it on your Instagram, and tag both of us, because highlighting what you picked out from this session, because this is 1/4. So we've not even started. Let's take it like that, because this is just health. We've already we're positioning our mind, we're positioning ourselves to be healthy enough so that we can indeed build this world that we've been doing in the community for the last 3 years. So please and please do well to talk about this on your social media. Tag YPFG, tag Michelle, tag Dr. Tewa, tag all of us. We know that you've taken away something from today's session. And I think someone said they wanted to give me, please, I'm everywhere as personal finance girl. Don't worry. You'll find me. Personal finance girl everywhere. And I genuinely did enjoy and picked up a lot of things. I've taken out a lot of quotes, a lot of notes. I always be seeing them on my socials as well. So please watch out. Watch out for the recap of today's session. And for those of us who had network issues, I know that a lot of people kept on getting kicked off from the call. Don't worry, there's going to be a recording. So trust me, there is going to be a recording that you can binge later on. But yes, before we go, I want to see you in the chat box, dropping some fire, some love, some thank you, this is what I'm going to be taking away for the mini week before we come back on Saturday for the next episode of what we're doing today. So please, thank you. Oh, the love is already plenty. You would never allow me to finish talking. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. Tewa. Thank you so much, Michelle. I will be in your DMs. I will be in your DMs. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And
Thank
yes,
you so
if
much.
you want to get serious with your personal finance, we have so many resources. We have so many resources that are available, from the ebook to the financial fitness challenge to the community. Sit down there. See, we have Toby that is always creating conversations for us to learn from. So you're in good hands, right? You're in good hands. So thank you. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Bisola, if you're not the community, okay, yeah, Toby already dropped a number that you can use. If not, I would say you should go on Instagram and just follow the link. You'll find yourself at the community. But the community manager is here to help you out to get onboarded on the community. God bless you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tewa. Thank you, Ms. Michelle. Thank you, YPFG. Chika, if you're not there, don't worry. Community manager is going to help. See the plenty fire. Hold on to you all. Thank you. It was such a wonderful evening. So, quick house. Okay.